Hi guys and welcome to Carflix. Today we are back on the UK's cheapest, most broken BMW. On the last episode we were left with a massive hole in the rear arch. So without further ado, let's crack on with that video. Right guys, you join me back after sanding all the filler down on the back quarter, and this is what I'm left with. Quite a big nasty hole which goes through to the bottom here and all the way up here, but this is just all going to be done myself. I was going to weld a whole piece in, but I can't weld, I don't have a welder, and I need to turn this car around. So I'm going to try a little trick that I learned on another YouTube channel. I'll put his link in the description below. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a whole piece of filler here as well as here.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
I've got rid of a lot of the rust here. You can see I've sanded it all down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a section here of filler with a little trick that I learned. And I'm going to do the same on the inside, and I'm going to do the same on the outside, so it builds a whole piece here. And then, as you can see, this has had an accident at some point. I'm going to refill this, but I'm not going to use as much filler as they use, because they'll use so much on this panel. Let me show you what I'm doing here. I've got some grease-proof paper, and what I've done is I've roughly marked out on the paper the outline of this line of filler that I want to do. So kind of get a pen and draw out the section you want to do, and then what we're going to do is put that filler onto the paper and then kind of just squash it in, and then yeah, that should create like a sheet of filler that will stay put. So let's go and try that now. And there you go, that's what I've done. I've compressed it into here like so, and we're going to wait for it to go hard now. I can feel it going hard already. But this is such a good idea this guy came up with. And while that's drying, I'm going to go and then do this side as well to try and build this side up. You can see it starting to set already. Look, it's really impressive. Such a good idea, and it stops you wasting so much filler as well. And there you go, look at that. That was after literally a few minutes. So now that I've got this inside section done, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to do the same for this. I'm going to trace an outline here so that I can start to build up the shape of the original wing and just go along there using the paper again. And there you go. And what I've done is I used a single piece here, and then what I did with the putty I had left over, that's why it's slightly different colour, I've filled in the bits, and then because I had such a good structure, I've built the structure up from the inside with the leftover there, just to smooth it out. And then obviously what I'll do is I'll sand it down and then prime it once it's all set. Right, so the final thing I've done is I've sprayed primer on, and you're thinking, well, why have you sprayed primer on? Well, the good thing about primer is you can see where all the imperfections are, so that's why I've sprayed this all in primer. Plus the car's going to be outside, I don't know when I'm going to get on it next, and this will offer a bit of protection to all the bare metal. So that's why I've quickly thrown some sheets on, had an old primer can that needed using up, and I've just put it all over there so I know what I'm sanding and I know what I can see. Hi guys, so you join me the next weekend. I've spent approximately 5 hours sanding this, and it is come out really well. I've done a lot of learning, that's why it took me so long, but it's ready finally for primer. I built it up in the end. I made quite a nice edge on there. It's going to look really good, and I even redid some of the original damage as well, which I think is going to come out smoother anyway. So I'm now going to get everything set up, and then I'm going to start spraying this thing. Right guys, so it's all ready for the primer. I've scuffed up all the old paint as well, and I've also cleaned it with alcohol. I've covered all the components that I don't want to have primer on, and now we're going to spray this complete panel. Guys, so here we have 3 coats of primer. We're going to let this dry now, and I've done my best. There is a little bit of imperfection where you can still see some of the dents from a previous repair, but you know what, I gave it a go and I don't think it's too bad to say that this is the first time I've attempted a repair of this nature. So what I'll do is wait for this to dry. Once it's dry, it'll get a rub down with 3000 grit, then put some alcohol on it, and then I'll start hitting it with the spray paint and then finish off with lacquer. So you join me the next morning, and I'm not completely happy with how this has turned out. I've got some marks here that are going to show through when I paint it, so I'm going to do a bit more sanding, get some of these high spots down. I want to make it half decent and I don't want all this to show through, so yeah, I'm going to attack it again at the bits I need, put just one more coat of primer over the top and see how I get on. So pretty much back to the drawing board. Right guys, so this is it. I'm going to start putting the final coats on of the actual paint. I've got it the best I possibly can within my capabilities, and now we're going to spray it. So I've just put the third coat on. It's not perfect. This is the third coat of base paint and I'll be finishing it off with a lacquer. But actually these little cans I got from Amazon, you need 2 of these to do something like this size. Okay, they say they're double acrylic, which means they'll do more than say your average size can like this one. But so far so good. I might put one more coat on to make it 4, but we'll see. I'm going to see how this coat dries and then we'll go straight onto the lacquer. Right guys, I've just hit this with 3 coats of lacquer and this is the end result. It's not perfect. I went super heavy on the last lacquer spray, but it hasn't come out bad at all. I think the shine is super duper. Yes, I've got some imperfections here and there, but you know what, I've done this myself. It's never going to be a professional job, but I think it's come out really well.
Nice.
So whilst the paint is curing, let's get on with fixing that cracked windscreen.
Woo!
So this is the kit that I bought off eBay. I think it was £23, but it comes with absolutely everything you need. Your handles, your parking tool, everything. So I'm now going to use this. Right guys, so now I'm going to be starting on removing the windscreen. The easiest way on the E90 is, the problem is you've got nowhere to get your rods through. It's really difficult because you're going to like scratch your paint at any angle. So the best way I find to thread this wire through is to get in the corner here and kind of just look above and then feed it in here. And what I did was I used this, put my wire on the end, you kind of fold it over the end just in a U shape, and then I used the rubber mallet and I kept hitting it until it came out of this corner here. And then as soon as I saw that, I pulled it out. It left the wire there and I've pulled it out. So now I'm going to go and put the handles on and we're going to start trying to saw this windscreen out. So to get the wire on, you thread it through the bottom, through the gouge, out the gouge, and then into the hole there. And then you kind of just pull it tight and then it locks in.
A few minutes later.
Right guys, so after multiple breaks of the wire and multiple damage, it's not happening. The wire trick doesn't work with a BMW E90. So what does work, however, can you see this? I've literally done all of this, all the top, all the side, using the following tool. It's just the puller. I was a little bit dubious, but this works 10 times better than any wire. So I'm now going to do the last bit and then we'll see if she moves. So I did say that this was useless. However, on the E90 is actually a really good idea to use this on the bottom. It's a bit awkward, but it's the only way to get the bottom section out because it's got this really annoying trim. But if you get the wire under the trim, a little trick for you, If you take a big piece and just wrap it round as you're going, you can adjust it to whatever length you want as you're doing it. But if we look now, I did the blade across the top and the sides, and now the whole thing is out. Look, all out and ready to go. What I'm going to do with this, I'm still looking for a second-hand screen. I'm going to duct tape it all the way around, put the trims back on so no water get into the mechanisms, and then yeah, we'll start putting a new one in as soon as one comes available. Now, before I show you this repair, I just wanted to point out to you that only 8% of people that watch this video actually subscribe. So please, if I have saved you some money, hit that subscribe button. It's totally free and it'd really help me out. Hi guys, so you join me the next day. I've decided I'm gonna do a service. What I've done is, so far I've had to remove all this again. I've had to unbolt this just to give me a bit more room, because obviously this gets in the way when we're trying to do with spark plugs, which I'm going on to this one next. These are the NGK spark plugs I pulled out, very dirty. That was probably because of the misfire, I'm guessing, but I'm putting brand new Bosch ones in. That's the old oil filter. The oil is completely black, so I'm now gonna put the new filter in, put all the spark plugs in, tighten everything back up, and then I'll give her a crank over just to make sure everything's working fine. So I've now managed to get the airbox open, which is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's placed that way, but you have to lift it upside down and then take your bolts out to get to the air filter, which is absolutely caked in shit. So God knows the last time this was changed. Looks like a man filter, but I'm changing for Bosch filters. However, I have noticed we have got an oil leak, and it looks like it's coming from one of these because it's flicking onto the bottom of the airbox. This is where the bottom of the airbox would sit, that way around. So that's covered in oil, and I've figured out that it's dripping from there onto the belt and then flicking over to there. So I'm glad I've found this, because that's going to help me when I sell this car, because then I can obviously get rid of this horrible oil leak as well. The other thing I wanted to show you was that the rubber bungs have all split. These are the little rings you get when you change your oil filter, and they'd all split as well when I took them off. So it's a good job that Bosch provide these, but the old filter was absolutely knackered. So I just wanted to show you as well, I've just changed the cabin filter, and look at the difference. That is just mental. It's like it hasn't been changed in about 10 years. But anyway, I'll throw all this back on, and then we're going to give her a turn over before it gets dark. Right, so I've just cranked her up, and yeah, ticking over perfectly. Tiny bit of smoke there where I dropped a little bit of oil, but that'll probably just burn off, I'm hoping. But yeah, she's good. So just something I've noticed is this tensioner seems to be moving a little bit, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up. If I put this on here, I can feel vibration. I don't know if you can hear this. I've attached it to the mic. You can hear that. It looks like I'm probably going to have to change that tensioner there. I don't think it should be moving around like that, so it is moving quite a lot. Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be like that, so I'll have a look at getting one of those ordered as well. The belt looks in really good condition though, which is good. Hey guys, you join me the next evening, and today we're going to be sorting the brakes out. I'm going to be stripping all this down for when the new brakes arrive. I also forget time. Take this cover off. If we just look in here, there's so much water floating on the top of that, it's just ridiculous. So yeah, it's full of water. We're gonna get rid of that, and yeah, we're gonna make a start. So I managed to get all the brakes off last night, and I decided to strip them all down, take the calipers off as well, because they were in a right state. And what I've done is I've gone over everything with a wire brush, got everything, all the dirt, all the rust off the best I can. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with this stuff, which is like metal paint, and this has actually got an 8-year protection on them, so this will be more than enough. I've also kind of positioned them so that I can hit them where they're going to be seen. I'm not too bothered about the backs of them, but I'm going to give them a really good spray with this stuff, and I'm going to let them dry overnight. Now, whilst they're drying, I couldn't find a second-hand screen anywhere in the UK, but what I did do, I contacted a local windscreen guy and asked him if I could buy an E90 windscreen directly off him, and he agreed, and he only charged me 95 quid, which I was over the moon about. So let's go and get this fitted. Right guys, so it's out, the windscreen is all out, and we're now gonna clean all the inside, and we're also going to use a razor blade to get all this old urethane out, and then any cuts where I've cut it, we're going to put some primer in there, and then we'll be ready to fit the new windscreen. Right guys, so I've started taking off the polyurethane using this tool here, and what you want to do is get it, you know, just 1 or 2 mil off, and just use a light motion, and you can see it's coming off like butter. It's really good. One little trick, if you put a piece of wood here, it'll stop you catching the interior here. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. So I've just finishing putting the primer on. Basically what this stuff does is any scratches that's gone through to the paint, you cover it with this. You just slide along where you've scratched places, like in the corners here particularly. Just go around, check for any open paint, and now we're going to be ready to put the sealer on. Right guys, so the sealant's on. I use the manual method, which is a lot more difficult than an automatic one, but hey, I'm doing it the first time and it ain't perfect, but I've tried my best. But now we're going to try and put the windscreen on. Right guys, so I have now done it. It was a bit of a nightmare, even with 2 of us. This side came out really bad. I must have put too much on and it leaked and made a right mess. But it's okay. The other side was really good, which I'm going to show you now. This side came out perfect, absolutely perfect. I think what we're going to do, any little bits of mark that we've left behind, just going to scrape it off with a plastic scraper. But we're now, I'm really impressed with the bottom of it. That's come out really, really well. And this side, the top's a bit meh. I think I just put a little bit too much on, which made it a bit more of a messy job. But you know what? I'm not a professional, I don't claim to be, and it seems to have gone on really well. So now I'm going to start putting the trim back on. Right guys, so the windscreen is in and it looks really cool actually. It's come out really well. We've just got to find, re-stick the top trim in, because that's not going back in. But apart from that, it looks really, really good. Now we've just started taking the interior out and it's so disgusting in here. I have acquired 2 quid though, so that's a great success.
A great success!
But yeah, we're going to clean all this interior, so I'm going to take all the seats out so it makes it easy and get rid of all this mess. Hey guys, so you joined me the next morning. Sorry I didn't do a lot of videos on this, but I want to run you through what I've done, because the time frame's pretty short on this car because I want to get it gone. So yesterday I fitted a brand new rocker cover gasket, which is here, look, because that was leaking. Obviously you can see the old oil there. I fitted a new tensioner because that was noisy. That was really easy, just a bolt in there. There's loads of YouTube videos on it. And then while I was there, I fitted a new V-belt as well. So that's that. Round to the other side of the car, I'm going to show you. I've took the whole interior out. Really easy, 4 bolts in here, although I have no idea why BMW decided to attach the seat belts to the seats, but it was just 1 bolt to get it off the seat. Took all the rear bench out, all that's out, but I wanted to show you how filthy this car is. It's disgusting. So excuse the tools, but look at all the dirt in this car. I've never seen such a dirty car in my life. Steering wheel's minging, awful. But we've took the seats out, we're gonna jet wash them, we're gonna clean all the interior out. It's gonna be like new, this car. And also the steering wheel's minging. The new windscreen is in. I've put all this back, all done. Put all the windscreen wipers back, everything works, so I'm really pleased with that. So today's job, because I didn't get around to it yesterday, these are the brakes that I resprayed the other day. They're all sprayed up ready. I'm going to start fitting those, bleeding those with the brand new brakes. So yeah, let's get cracking. Right guys, so all the brakes are done. They're all bled, brand new. All the arches have been cleaned. I've given the car a little bit of a jet wash over just to get some of the dirt off, but it hasn't had a proper clean yet. The inside is pretty much done. It now looks like a brand new car in there. It looks absolutely amazing. Yes, it hasn't got any seats, but they're still really wet. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm trying to get the wheels on, which I've just done now. Give them a quick wash. They've come out okay, still not happy with them, but I'll probably spend some more time when I do a proper clean on the car. So I'm now going to try and get this all on the car before it gets dark. And of course it did get dark, which meant I couldn't do any filming. So let's leave the video there. So join me in the next video when I decide to give the car a deep clean, but then find a major issue. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe.